So you know the drill, right? You study for hours, you've got highlighters in every color, you reread everything, you pull the all-nighter, and then the next day, it's just gone. Poof. It feels so unfair. But what if I told you it's not because you're lazy or you can't focus? It's because you've been taught to study in a way that literally works against your own brain. Well, we're about to fix that.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. You are staring so hard at a page, your eyes are definitely moving across the words, but your brain just checked out about 3 paragraphs ago. It's like you got hit in the face with a wall of text and nothing stuck. I promise you, your brain isn't broken. It's just being forced to use a system that it was never designed for.
And here's the proof. Check this out. Research shows that within just 24 hours, your brain is designed to delete up to 70% of new information it takes in. Seriously, that's not a you problem, that's a biology problem. It's a feature, not a bug. And in this explainer, we're going to show you how to work with that biology to finally make learning stick. Okay, so here's the fundamental truth we have to get our heads around. Forgetting is the default setting for our brains. It's actually a survival tool to stop us from being completely overloaded with useless information. The problem is, most of our study habits are basically trying to fight this natural process head on. And spoiler alert, it's a losing battle. Meet your arch nemesis, the forgetting curve. Look at that thing. It's a steep, slippery slope that shows just how fast we forget stuff. Every time you just passively reread your notes or highlight a textbook, you're trying to push this giant boulder up that curve. And the second you stop, it just rolls right back down. It's exhausting, and as we now know from neuroscience, it's incredibly ineffective. This really brings us to the two different worlds of learning. Over on one side, you've got the passive methods. You know, the stuff they probably taught you in school. Your brain treats this like background noise. It's like an ad you just scroll past without even thinking about it. But on the other side, that's where the active methods live. This isn't about consumption, it's about creation. It's about training your brain, not just stuffing it with info. Here's a little secret for you. Your brain has major trust issues. When you show it a new piece of information, its first reaction is, are we sure we need to keep this? To get past that filter, the information has to prove itself. It needs intention to show you're serious. It needs relevance to show it's actually important. And it needs familiarity to connect it to something you already get. If you mess even one of those, your brain just kind of goes into standby mode. So how do we signal that intention before we even start studying? Well, it all starts before you even crack open a book. See, it's not just about what you do, it's about how you mentally show up to the task of learning. You can have the best techniques in the entire world, but they're not going to work if your mind isn't actually ready to receive them. This Zen proverb just nails it. It's the first step. Top students in Japan are taught this idea of approaching learning with an empty cup. This means you're not there to prove how smart you are or to be perfect. You're there to be curious, to discover what you don't know yet. The second you let go of that ego and that pressure to get it right the first time, you actually make room for real learning to happen. All right, let's get practical with the ritual. You've probably heard of the Pomodoro technique, right? Well, there's a Japanese upgrade that makes it so much more powerful. Before you hit start on that 25-minute timer, you do two things. First, write down a single, super specific focus statement. Not just study chemistry, but something like, I will understand how covalent bonds work in the next 25 minutes. Then, and this is key, say it out loud. It feels a bit weird at first, but it literally flips a switch in your brain, telling it, okay, we're in performance mode now. Okay, so our mindset is right, our intention is set. Now we can dive into the actual techniques that build those strong, lasting memories. These are the methods that work with your brain's biology to create these deep, interconnected webs of understanding. This right here is the absolute core of it all. It's called active recall, or sometimes the samurai memory technique. Think about it like this. A sword isn't made just by heating up metal. That's the input. It's forged by the hammering, the output. Your memory works the same way. It isn't built when you put information in your head by reading. It's forged when you struggle to pull that information out. So after you read a chapter, close the book and try to write down everything you remember. That feeling of struggle, that's not you failing. That's your brain physically building and strengthening connections. Stop cramming, start training. Now here's a really powerful method from Japan for truly mastering a concept. Instead of just rereading something over and over, you rewrite it 5 different times, each time in a totally new way. So why does this work so well? Because each one of those versions forces you to use a different part of your brain. Your logical brain, your visual brain, your creative brain. By the time you're done, you haven't just memorized a fact, you've built a whole network of understanding around it.
This quote from physicist Richard Feynman is the ultimate test of knowledge. It's a technique often called teach to learn. It's simple. Can you take a really complex idea and explain it so simply that a 10-year-old would get it? That mental effort of simplifying and finding analogies forces you to confront every single gap in your own understanding. It solidifies what you know like nothing else can.
Now, all these techniques are awesome, but they're most powerful when you put them inside a system. The goal here isn't one heroic, caffeine-fueled all-night cram session. No way. The real goal is small, consistent actions that build this unstoppable momentum over time. This is how we finally defeat the forgetting curve. Think of your memory like a plant in a garden. You can't just water it once and expect it to grow forever, right? Spaced repetition is all about reviewing information at specific increasing intervals, right around the time you're about to forget it. Each time you review, it's like watering that plant again, making the memory's roots grow deeper and stronger. You're not studying more, you're just studying smarter.
And that brings us to this beautiful Japanese concept called Kaizen, which just means continuous improvement. Forget about trying to get 100% better by tomorrow. That's impossible and you'll just burn out. Instead, focus on getting just 1% better every single day. These tiny, almost unnoticeable efforts, they compound over time into absolutely massive growth. That 1% could just be 5 minutes of active recall before bed. That's it. It all adds up. In some of the top schools in the world, students have this incredibly powerful nightly habit. It's a sacred, totally distraction-free period of review. No phones, no TV, no interruptions. Now, this isn't a punishment. It's a powerful ritual that carves out a dedicated space and time just for learning. It builds incredible discipline, and over time, it makes focus feel automatic. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this choice. Learning isn't some passive chore that you just have to suffer through. It is an active skill that you can develop and master. You now have the toolkit that the top performers use to work with their brains, not against them. So the choice is yours. Are you going to keep cramming and forgetting, or are you ready to start training your mind for mastery?